Long post, so bear with me here. I'm gonna break it up into categories to help make it more digestible. Context to my relationship in question. I, 23F, met my ex-BF, 24M, back in March. We had a long phase, about 10 months, of casually seeing one another until we decided to make things official and commit to one another and give a real relationship a shot. It was absolutely perfect. We were so happy and so in love, the total honeymoon phase that just never seemed to wear out. We decided to move into an apartment together in February. At this point, being in an established relationship for a little over a year. We signed a lease that was supposed to be 15 months long. When we first moved, we loved our apartment and home. It was everything we wanted. We chose to move about 45 minutes away from where we were living prior, for a couple reasons. I was going to attend college and we both really wanted a change of scenery in a new area that with more happening, where things began to go south. One thing to note about my ex and I, is that we are very different personality-wise. I'm very extroverted and I enjoy going out and having a good time, drinking occasionally, nothing crazy, while my ex was very much an introverted homebody and didn't really care to drink or go out. While this never bothered me since I don't really go out a whole lot anyways, when he would agree to go out, he would act absolutely miserable the entire time. Aside from going out, generally, he often would have these moods of noticeable agitation and I couldn't place where they would come from and he wouldn't say. This wouldn't so much bother me, but he took it out on me and would either deny being in a mood in the first place, or give no reason as to why he was so irritable. I'm willing to admit I have a very anxious attachment style, so the wondering and self-blame for his moods would really upset me and make me sad. My ex also struggled with a gambling issue. He worked to combat it a bit once it became a noticeable problem, that resulted in me having to compensate for portions of his finances. I gave an ultimatum basically, give the gambling up, or I will leave you, because I can't do this anymore. I was very encouraging and proud of his ability to kick the addiction. Things were okay after this, but I was upset and a little resentful, without even realizing it at the time. He continued to struggle financially. He was very financially stable when we first met, but began to hit some bumps throughout the relationship, to a point that he was barely keeping his head above water. I was willing to do whatever I could to help, but on the contingency that he looked for better paying jobs, and applied for a degree to begin college and try to work into a long-term career. If he was not willing to go into a sustainable trade or career that would not require a college degree, like the service industry, real estate, etc. For context, I have been in college on and off, right now having about 2 semesters left before receiving my degree anyway. He told me he was open to going to college to give it a try if he were able to receive a grant and not have to accrue more debt. I agreed with this plan and completed his entire application for him. He was given a wildly sufficient Pell Grant that left him with a good chunk of money left over after paying tuition and other school fees. He began basic college courses at a local community college and began looking for other jobs, which felt like a huge step in the right direction. The true beginning of the end. In October, we were both insanely busy being full-time students and employees. There wasn't a whole lot of time left for us to have as quality time together. Around this time, my ex was still struggling severely with his finances, even though we weren't going out or really doing anything. I told him I couldn't understand where his money was going and how this was happening. This is when he drops the bomb on me that he had taken out 2 loans to pay bills while he was deep into his gambling problem, and had kept it from me because it's not my business. This sparked something in my brain, some level of resentment that I truly couldn't shake or ignore. I was furious and so confused as to why on earth he would do that without talking to me first, as we split everything and shared finances. This, coupled with recurring attitudes, no time or effort spent on dates, etc., just made me hit a wall and completely begin to check out. I work in the service industry and began staying out late after work and drinking with my girlfriends and coworkers. I didn't want to come home because he would be on the video game and wouldn't get off, and I knew it would make me angry, so I would just stay out until the bars would close. This became a pattern that I just couldn't ignore. I felt like I was living with a stranger. Our physical intimacy died. I didn't feel desired by him at all. I would explain to him that I just needed hey, you look nice today. Something, anything other than no compliments ever unless you're just trying to make a move. It just boiled over and he was talking about our future one day, marriage, having children, etc. And I just looked at him and sobbed because I knew I didn't feel it anymore. Check out for part 2.